how to improve your digital IQ of your organization. In my books, Business Trends in Practice and Tech Trends in Practice, I talk about the importance of leveraging digital technologies if companies want to survive and especially thrive in the future. So the digital IQ is the ability to understand the value of technology and harness it to drive business success. What we're seeing at the moment is that there's a massive digital IQ gap. And this goes right across the organization. So how do we improve it? For me, this has to start right at the top of the organization, at the board level, where we need to make sure we have a board seat that overlooks digital and understands digital and is respected across other board members. Another option is to bring advisors onto the board, for example, as non-executive directors. This is something that I do for a number of organizations where I provide this insight. So for me, this is where the starting point has to be. Then we have to recruit the right talent. We need to bring people in that are digitally native. And this can happen in lots of different ways. I know that lots of organizations finding it really difficult to recruit talent that have skills around AI and blockchain because they are so sought after and they're competing with some of the biggest organizations with the biggest budget. What I've seen a number of times is that organizations buy this talent in, so they are buying smaller organizations. But for this, it's really important that you have the right organizational culture and setup, which I'll touch on later. What's really important is that we invest in learning and development and create a space where people can learn. So one of my clients is Shell, for example, and they created a customized course on Udemy on lots of the digital skills that anyone in Shell can take. And they also build communities, which is another important element of this. Again, in Shell, they have created communities around data science, for example, around blockchain, and all of these important skills that they want to build. Another really important one is building partnerships, especially if you're struggling to create the talent inside and recruit the talent. You can partner with universities, for example. I work with a number of government organizations and especially in the policing world, for example, and they find it really difficult to attract data scientists and analysts because they haven't got the same salary flexibility as some of the private sector companies have. But what they're now doing is they are collaborating with universities who are happy to have access to data and help them analyze it. Another tip is to create innovation hubs. So for example, drinks and brewing company Anheuser-Busch InBev, who owns brands like Budweiser, Corona, Beck's and Stella Artois, have created the Beer Garage. This is an innovation lab that sits right at the heart of Silicon Valley and allows them to access local talent and integrate into the local culture. Levi Strauss, for example, created their innovation lab in Silicon Valley too, which they called Eureka. And this is deeply embedded in the local ecosystem. What is really important is that companies then don't isolate these hubs, but create a hub and spoke model where they bring people from the main business into these innovation hubs and back into the business to transfer skills and also to influence culture. And for me, culture is another key element of this. If you want to drive your digital IQ, you need to create a different organizational culture where innovation is nurtured, where you have a no-blame culture, where people can experiment, where people feel empowered. If you want to learn more about these or stay on top of some of these trends, make sure you subscribe to my channel, have a look at my podcast, and explore my website where I have hundreds of articles on this topic.